have bad skin and you want to cover it all up. I'm filming. Now you're in the video, I'm going to keep this part in.
Alright, okay.
Right, okay. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Hello everyone, my name's Jamie, welcome back to my channel. So I woke up today with the intention of filming a few things, but I swear every time I say I'm going to film a video tomorrow, my skin goes, no bitch, you ain't. And I've just not been having the best luck with my skin since Christmas, funnily enough. All the sugar, all the fat, I'm not surprised. But it actually made sense in a way, because I've wanted to film this video for a while, and it's the perfect day to do so, I think. Today I'm going to be doing a foundation and concealer tutorial if you really want that heavy coverage. So we're not talking drag queen. Well, basically it's a full coverage foundation tutorial. I thought it would actually work out perfect for someone who maybe has quite bad acne, high pigmentation on the face, rosacea, anything like that. Keep in mind, if you have any of those issues, probably don't do this every day. It's not going to be the best for your skin to have this much foundation and concealer on your face. So if you have those issues, this isn't an everyday makeup tutorial for you. This is a special occasion event type of thing. I already know there'll be tons of people watching it thinking that is just disgusting, that's way too much makeup, and it is. But you like what you like. The only thing we're going to be doing in this video is the foundation, the concealer, and the setting of the face. I've got my coffee, I've got my brows on. We're not playing any games, we're not wasting any time. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to show you and just explain to you a little bit is this product. This is my drag foundation, actually. The only differences between this look and drag is that I put this all over my face when I'm in drag. This is the Kryolan TV paint stick in the shade NB, which I think stands for neutral beige. I get mine from ukmua.co.uk. It's actually the online store for wigs up north, which is a really famous shop for special effects and drag and all that stuff. And I think is it Manchester or Liverpool? I think it's Manchester. I don't know. But basically this is the fullest coverage foundation, well, almost, that you'll be able to find and easily get. This was designed for stage and television. It is full coverage, but it can be thinned out. I know a few girls back in Australia who, real girls, not drag queens, real girls who use this every day. They just thin it out with a little bit of moisturiser or maybe a different foundation. So this is the first product I'm going to be using, and because I don't want to put that all over my face, I'm going to put it in the certain areas and I'm going to be blending it out with MAC Studio Fix fluid. This is in the shade NC25. It's a little bit yellow for me, but it should be fine once we mix it with her. This is a full coverage foundation by MAC. I think it's their fullest coverage foundation that they do. It's Old and Faithful. I have a few shades in my kit. It's just a good foundation. So let's do that first, then we'll talk about concealers and powders in a minute. So what I will say is make sure your skin is ready. When you're going to be playing with this much face makeup, you want to make sure you've not got too much texture. I have really quite bad texturized skin. I've always struggled with little lumps and bumps, so we'll just need to work around it. But basically, make sure you've at least washed your face, and if you've exfoliated your face as well with something with, you know, microbeads in it or something like that, that'll work even better. So we're moisturized. So what I'm going to do is put this on the areas where I feel I need the most coverage. Do you see that? I'm obsessed, but hey, I clearly need the most coverage. Up here on my temples, these bad boy spots. Usually both my cheeks are my problem areas. I guess that's the case with everyone. A little bit on the nose, chin, a little bit on the forehead too. So yeah, that's where I like to put my Kryolan TV paint stick. Now, if this makes any sense, try and leave it on your face before you blend it. It takes a while to set. It's not going to dry because it's already dry. Your face is actually going to warm the product up a little bit. So I just like to live a little dream, let that sit there for a little second before I add the MAC Studio Fix. Another thing about this video, really important product, couldn't recommend it enough, MAC Fix Plus. You probably know what this is already. There's like 200 ways you can use it. I don't find that it helps the makeup stay on. That's not really what it's for. I don't think that's its purpose. But it dissolves all your powders, makes you look dewy, just keeps you hydrated basically. So in between the paint stick and the MAC Studio Fix foundation, I like to give myself a spray with this. Next I'm going to take this beauty sponge. This is one by, I do like Real Techniques and obviously I love my beauty blender. This is by the brand Model Rock. I'm going to take the cap off of my Studio Fix fluid. I am going to, now you don't want too much of this because honestly, the makeup that's already on your face is going to do the job. So what I'm going to do, I've got that little bit of MAC Studio Fix foundation on my hand. Now I'm just going to dot it all over. I know what you're thinking. This is so much makeup. Just on the bottom half for now, actually. I'm not going to focus on the forehead right this minute. Then what I'm going to do is grab that beauty sponge by Model Rock and just start blending. Do what you know how to do. This part's pretty self-explanatory. And the more you blend, I mean, the better it's going to look. If you wanted to, you could use a brush to blend this out. That's actually going to make the coverage a little bit better. Generally, using these types of sponges soak up a little bit of the product, so you're left with a little bit less coverage than what you would if you used a brush. But I find that this model rock sponge doesn't actually soak up that much product. You can ignore the fact that I'm using the Kryolan stick. You can use Makeup Forever, have a very similar product. Tons of brands actually do cream stick foundations now. So the only difference with this one is that it's a little bit more coverage. And why is that something that we don't enjoy? So that's the bottom half of my face sorted out. What I'm going to do is jump back into the Studio Fix fluid that's on my hand and carve out the top of my brows so that we can start blending my forehead and we don't have to worry about the brows. Done. Let me just check up close, because I always say this and then when I watch the video back I'm like, bitch, blend your cheek. So next step, I need you all to keep in mind as well that the fuller coverage the foundation, the more likely it is to crease. Now that is just simple science when it comes to makeup. The more makeup you've got on the face, the more likely it is going to settle into those fine lines. So with this type of look where you definitely have a lot going on foundation wise, you want to make sure once you've blended everything that you grab a transparent powder. I keep saying transparent instead of translucent. You want to grab your translucent powder. I like this one by Laura Mercier, but Kat Von D also does an amazing one, and you can also just go to Superdrug and maybe pick up one from there. I don't think I've ever tried a drugstore one that I absolutely loved. This is heavenly, but it's expensive AF, so maybe try Kat Von D, it's a bit cheaper. Anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to grab that transparent powder, and anywhere where your face creases all the time, you want to set. I have this little Primark beauty blender thing, and I'm going to dip into the transparent powder with my sponge. It's a damp sponge, by the way, which I think applies the powder a lot more seamlessly and helps it melt into the skin a lot more. The first place on me that without fail always creases quite badly is my forehead. So I just like to dab the powder on. Now the difference between this and baking is that I'm not just going to let it sit there. I'm going to put a lot of powder on the area, then beauty blend it in until you can't see powder sitting on top of the skin anymore. So I'm not going to put any concealer on my forehead. So I'm just setting this area just now because I don't want it to crease. Once it creases, it's hard to go back in time. Even with blending it out, I find that I want to do it while it's fresh. So I'm putting the powder on my forehead, but not under my eyes. I still need to put concealer there. Concealer! So I've pushed that powder into my forehead and I'm confident that I can just let it sit for a minute. It is going to crease like within hours, but if any makeup product tells you that this will delete all your creases all day and you will not know that you have creases, then put it down and don't spend your money. Products are amazing and certain things can help, and some products are better than others, and some can actually delete maybe some creases for a few hours. Nothing is going to get rid of them when it comes to cosmetics, but if you're really that dedicated to spending a lot of money constantly on products that are going to get rid of creases in your face, then I would stop buying makeup for a while and go see your doctor and maybe get a little something something. I find that setting my forehead right away really helps me. Now I'm going to jump into concealer. Now you have so much foundation on your face that you don't need concealer for the coverage aspect. You need it to brighten up your face. I'm going to use two because I'm extra. This is the MAC Select Cover Up Concealer. Now this is full coverage and it has a matte finish, a very matte finish. This is an NW15, which is one of the lightest shades MAC have, but I'm quite pale, so I enjoy this to highlight. And then we have this. This is a drugstore concealer. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I really enjoy this. I really do. This one's kind of like skin-like, a little bit more skin-like. Well, it is quite light, to be fair. It's just not light enough for me to highlight. The reason you're going to still put concealer on when you've got all this makeup on isn't exactly for the coverage, because your foundation is doing that already for you. You're using concealer to bring light to the face. You could really use any liquid type product that you want that is light in colour, or if you do want extra coverage under the eyes, then you can go ahead and use your concealer. And this is super affordable as well. Definitely give it a try. And if you're lighter than me, you want to pick up the shade 15, but if you're my colour or any darker, 10 should be fine for you. Now I'm going to blend that out. It just blends. I think it blends beautifully. It's not too heavy. It doesn't dry too quick. I really enjoy the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. So that's the Maybelline concealer all over my face. As you can see, it is light under the eyes and stuff, but if you know me, I really do like quite a light under eye. I like to highlight quite a lot. So I'm going to grab my Select Cover Up concealer. Now you really do not need a lot of this. Like, that's all I'm going to use. I'm going to use this concealer brush, just a flat concealer brush, to add this on. I'm just going to, now you can see how light that one is. But as I said before, I'm not going to overuse this. So then you're going to blend that out quite quickly too, because as I said, this concealer really does dry quite quick. So you're going to blend that out. Another place where my face is quite bad for creasing is under my eyes. So again, I've just blended that concealer. I'm going to jump into my powder real quick. As I said before, the difference between baking my face and doing this is I find that if I place the powder with a wet beauty blender, but then do this and make sure the powder melts into the face, I get a much better and prettier result. We're getting there. So that's our foundation and our concealer and all of our liquid products out the way. So you look kind of like a blank canvas, flat colour. You can look a bit ill sometimes, but until you bring the colour back into your face and do all that, that happens. So you're just going to have to fight through it. It's fine. The next step, this is where it gets quite crazy. You're going to be thinking, Jamie, stop. But this is what I do, so I'm just being honest. We're going to jump into our matte Studio Fix powder foundations. Oh my god, am I ill? You probably all know these. They're absolutely amazing. They're a full coverage powder foundation product by MAC. I have one that is lighter than my skin, and I have one that is closer to the colour of my skin. Now what I'm going to do is really straightforward. I'm going to set the rest of my face with the one that's my face colour. And then I'm going to go back onto the areas I want to be a bit lighter with the lighter colour. So let's do that. Jump into the product and then dab it on the rest of my face. This is, what is this doing? This is setting the rest of the foundation where you haven't put Laura Mercier, making sure that it's going to last all day. Yes, it's going to mattify you down. So if you want a super dewy look, then maybe it's not for you, this step. But I feel like if you have that much foundation on and you're really self-conscious, then you're going to want it to last all day. So I jump into this powder. I mean, it seems excessive to be setting your face with a full coverage foundation when, you know, a really light powder would do the job. But this is a full coverage foundation video, so this is what we're all about today. I'm going to grab this PC03 brush by Peaches and Cream. It's kind of just like a really big eyeshadow brush, and jump into the lighter Studio Fix powder foundation. Where I'm going to be focusing this one is under the eye, a little bit on the eye. Why not? Just think of it as highlighting. You know, you're highlighting the face with this. Now, because we didn't add any concealer to our forehead, we're going to purely highlight with this mainly. So I just like to focus the product middle of the forehead. Now, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but the more powder you add, the more powdery you're going to look. We're going to fix that in the next step. I'll show you. You've got everything on. You are a blank ass canvas. At this stage, you might move on to you're highlighting your contour, you might do your eyes. I use a lot of powder, as you can see. I use translucent under the eyes. I use MAC Studio Fix powder on the face. I don't do this look every day, and this isn't my current, you know, makeup routine as such, but it would be if I was going to an event or something that started in the morning, but maybe didn't finish until nighttime, or if I knew I was going to be going to a club that plays my type of stuff and I know I'll be on the dance floor, then this is maybe similar to what I would do. Obviously I would finish the look with contour and highlight and all that, but anyway, the last kind of step in the foundation steps is really to grab that Fix Plus again and spray your face. And that is it. So, well, that's it for your foundation and your concealer. I have another video to film. I'm going to go and film an eye makeup tutorial on a look and add the rest of my makeup because I look a bit scary. And I'm going to come back and say goodbye. Woo! So I finished my makeup. I actually filmed another tutorial in the meantime on the eye look and finished off my bronzer, my lips and all that. But you can see this is what the finished look looks like. Now, I know it's a bit scary at first because you look a bit like a blank canvas, but once you add the lip and the eyes and, you know, the contour and the bronzer and the blush and all that, it does all come together. It doesn't look as creepy. And the one thing that I do love about doing this type of base makeup is that I know it's going to last all day. I could go clubbing right now and come home at, you know, 5 AM and my face would still be on, depending on how much fun I was having, hey. You know I'm the queen of use what you want, so you do not have to use the same foundations I used in these videos, but just make sure whatever foundation you are using, that it is full coverage. We don't want to play games. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video all about how I got this. If you want to see how I finished the look and how I got around to doing these eyes, then the link to that tutorial is in the description box below. And there'll also be a link to it at the end of this video. So keep an eye open for that if you like the eyeshadow. If you like this video, then like this video. The button is right there. Underneath that button there is a button that says subscribe. If you would love to subscribe, I would love you to do that. It won't affect your life really that much, apart from you'll get to see me a lot quicker. And it'll affect mine. So do it. Please. Do me a favour and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you think this is too much makeup for you. I mean, if you have perfect skin, no, don't like... It's not really for you. But let me know in the comment section below how you feel about wearing this much foundation. If you would do it, why you wouldn't do it. My Instagram and Snapchat are both going to be at the end of this video. Come on over and say hi to me there. And just make sure you stay snatched. I mean, we're definitely snatched today. Definitely. Stay snatched and be nice to people. Okay, bye.